Hello everyone, welcome to the THR show. My name is Paul-Azino. The THR show focuses on social sector managers and entrepreneurs who by sheer determination and passion work through their projects. On this show, we will focus on the challenges and the impacts of this project. Please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, or people you would like us to interview, please drop a comment below. Hello everyone, welcome to the THR show. My name is Paul-Azino. Maya Angelou said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, compassion, some humor, and some style." My guest on today's show has all of this in one, do I want to say one small body or one big body? Please make welcome Ejiro Okotie. Hello, Ejiro.
Hi, Osasu.
How are you?
Very well.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's go right into our conversation. So tell me a bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Ejiro Sharon Okotie. I'm from Delta State, from a family of 3. I have a twin sister.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And I'm Christian. I'm a graduate of Public and International Affairs from University of Lagos.
Okay.
And I also work as a development consultant, so to speak, on gender and social inclusion. So I started a foundation called the Hope Inspired Foundation for Women and Youth, which basically helps to reach out to women and youth through education, capacity building, and self-actualization, particularly those living with disabilities.
Okay, so your organization is focused on people particularly living with disability.
Yes.
Why did you see the need to do this? What is there any personal story? Is there something attached to this?
There's actually a personal story. A lot of the work that I do is personally motivated because I'm a person with a disability as well. Okay. I'm blind, and I acquired my blindness in the course of my life. So I had cerebrospinal meningitis. We used to stay up north then, and there was a breakout of it that year. So I was unfortunately one of those that were affected by the epidemic at the time, and I found myself in a new world entirely. Now, moving from a sighted world to a blind world where you now had to just adjust, and there were so many things that were lacking. Educationally, it was tough because going to school, I went to an integrated school. I finished from Queen's College, then I went on to University of Benin, which was even worse off for me because a lot of the lecturers were not even aware that blind people go to school. So it was like, how are you going to cope? How are you going to survive? How do we help you? So I always had to dictate my notes and braille them, and then type my exams. I'll get somebody to dictate my questions. Very rigorous educational process of learning, and so many other things in society. And going through life, different stages of life, I kept seeing that gap at different levels, in terms health-wise and all of those. So that kind of spurred me to begin to tailor my programs to focus a bit more on this group in order to kind of bridge that gap,
Wow.
as much as possible.
Okay, so please tell me about the activities that you run at Hope Inspired Foundation.
Okay, so at Hope Inspired, one of our maiden projects was the Inspire Life project, which is focused on young girls with disabilities, helping them to develop life skills. Because like I said, a lot of our programs are personally motivated. As a young girl growing up with a disability, there were certain things that, I needed to understand. There were certain issues. I struggled with low self-esteem growing up as a young girl, And though I had family support and all of those, I was able to, walk through it in a healthy way and get over it to a large extent, and I found out that sharing my story with this younger generation, younger girls, it will help them to be able to deal with some of those issues even before they leave secondary school to the university, and they will come out better. sometimes I wish that I knew most of the things I know now while I was in the university or while I was in secondary school. So that Inspire Life project, I decided to start off from my alma mater, Queen's College. So we've been there for like a year now. And we usually end the session, the activities for the year, with a girls' camp at the end of the year. But even in doing that, I said we want to bridge the gap. So it's actually creating a balanced society where non-disabled persons and disabled persons are able to live together without feeling like this other person is different
or better,
you know. So for us, we decided to bring in non-disabled girls as well. So at the camp, we have both disabled and non-disabled girls, because we want to try to create that synergy between both groups. So the Inspire Life project has been on. We've had 2 editions of the camp, 2015 and 2016. So it's usually in December, like the 3rd week in December. And we're working towards that again this year. So that's the Inspire Life project. And at the core of our work as well is economic empowerment. Because like I said, we have focused a bit on persons with disabilities. And one of the major challenges that persons with disabilities face is poverty. So as a result of poverty, you cannot access education, you cannot access health, you cannot access so many things. It's a major issue. Like, you spend 3 times the amount of money you used to train one disabled child, you can use that money to train three non-disabled children. That's how much.
Why do you think, why is that? Why is it expensive?
It's expensive because in this part of the world, the facilities are not there. So for me, as a blind person, if I have to study, I have to get a laptop, I have to get an assistive device. And if I'm importing it from abroad, it's going to cost me like 2. So I get a regular laptop of 80,000. And the device, the software that will enable me to utilize it effectively goes for 250,000.
Wow.
You know, that kind of thing. So, and so many other devices that I may need to just be able to function effectively. You know, so all of those makes learning and so many other things. Somebody on a wheelchair, for instance, wants to go to the hospital, you need to charter a taxi to and fro, because accessing the public buses is not so easy. You know, so all of those things put together. So we have at the core of our work economic empowerment. So we also have.
So sorry. So one of the things you said now. So disability. So it's not just being visually impaired. It's every kind of disability that you also focus on.
Yes. Our organization focuses on all the disability groups. So we work with the deaf, we work with the blind, we work physically challenged, all the clusters that are recognized by the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities. We actually do a lot of our work in partnership with them and other disability groups.
So I hear you talk about partnerships. So you're big on partnerships.
Yes, very big on it.
So that's 2 projects you've talked about. Are there any more projects?
Then the last one is still connected to the economic independence. It's actually making employment in the private sector a bit more accessible for youth with disabilities. So in 2016, we produced a documentary, because one of the things that, while I thought about that project, I realized that over the years, we've always said, we want to be included, include us. But nobody has actually been telling people how. Because I went for an interview, and an American in Nigeria here was asking me, so what kind of laptop do you use? Is it a normal laptop? Or I said, in my mind, I was like, you know, the way we carry those people, like, if an American is this ignorant,
can say that to you,
I can imagine what goes on in the minds of so many. So I said, that means there's a part of the conversation that is missing. And that is the how. So telling people how I can function. I want you to employ me as a blind person, but I need to explain to you, you need to understand how I'll be able to be of use in that place. So that's what our documentary was speaking to, talking about how persons with disabilities are actually able to function. So as a blind person, I can use my phone effectively due to the accessibility feature that's on the phone. I can use the laptop. I can work on Excel sheets, PowerPoint. I mean, I can very well use my laptop just like a sighted person, you know. So that's what the documentary was speaking to. And then we created a job portal site, because one of the things that we also discovered was there was a lack of information on both ends. So you find employers and they say, we actually have it in mind to employ, but where do we find the qualified youth with disabilities? So that was what that we're trying to achieve with the job portal side. So we get qualified due to disabilities to create their profiles on the site, on the job portal site, upload their CVs and have those. And also prospective employers too can go there and like put their job listings, whatever it is. So on both sides, you know, and we can use that to also generate data of the number of unemployed qualified due to disabilities in Nigeria. So that's part of changing the dialogue.
So it's advocacy in terms of you're telling
awareness,
and then it's also awareness raising.
Yes.
That's fantastic job. Speaking about the job portal, I know that it's something quite recent.
Yes,
it's something that was launched. Am I correct?
Yes, we had a stakeholders forum to launch the documentary. So we did that.
Were there any partnerships?
Yes.
Were there any grants? Who are the individuals that made that possible?
Okay, so I'm a 2015 Mandela Washington Fellow.
Wow. Okay.
And as a fellow, we have access to quite a lot of things on the network. So I was privileged to benefit from the 2016 Small U.S. Mission grants in Lagos. So that was for the entrepreneurship project. Then under the fellowship program as well, we had a pitch competition. So I also won that pitch competition of $5,000.
Wow.
And that was what was used to implement the Changing the Dialogue project that we did to produce the documentary. And the job portal site was just part of our own initiative that came out of the project. So there are grants available, and there are also other resources. Like you want to have a program, the stakeholders forum, we did it at the US consulate. So sometimes you have venue, you have media available to you. You have there's so many resources.
So you are saying that because of the fellowships that you've been privileged to attend.
Well, as I think that being a beneficiary of one of the exchange programs, you're actually open to you're able to access a lot of these services, though they are extended to members of the public to an extent. Yes, but for us it's special. Yes, special privilege.